Okay, I'm just doing a test here to check the autofocus. You are looking at a steel plate at roughly, if I can range find this, give me 1 sec. See if my rangefinder will do this. "10 yards. Okay, and the camera is not catching the extreme brightness. I don't know if I want to use the word extreme, but the brightness that this light's throwing out. This is probably 200 lumen. And we are going to move back. This test is to see how far the Night Evolution's M900 Vampire will illuminate the target. I don't know if the focus will catch that, but okay, now we are 25-ish yards from that plate, and to the eye it is still plenty bright to identify that target. We are now almost 50 yards away. I believe this marker is 50, give or take. And I might have to adjust the camera some. 1 second while I loosen this and move it up. Okay, let's see now. Now, I see you can barely see the plate, but I can still clearly identify that as a plate. I could identify that as a person. I could see, hey, that's my brother. Hey, that's Joe Schmo, the neighbor. Clearly bright enough. Clearly bright enough. About 50 yards, give or take. Okay, let's bring it back. I believe this will be 60, but I'm gonna range find this just to be sure. Let me range find it real quick, if I can, and we'll see. I'm gonna have to turn the light on this. Now, okay, let me see if I can. Oh, it is bone fucking chilling cold out here right now. Let's see, where is that plate? I'm just trying to focus. Okay, now let me see if I can laze it. Oh, I take that back. We are currently at 55 yards. So let me turn this on. if I can turn this switch, okay. Yeah, now in the camera, I can barely make the plate out. You can see it up there, but in the camera, I can barely make it out. With my eye, still visible, 55 yards. Still plenty visible. I would say this would be good to, well, it's pretty snowy out here. So with the snow gone, I would say this is good for between 50 and 80 yards max. Oh my God, my hands are freezing. Okay, I'm gonna stop here and we'll talk about this inside. Okay, we're back inside. I am going to, well, let me just remove that. If I can get this rested here. This is the light. You can see here, if I can not beat the tripod, that we are using the Night Evolution's m900 Vampire. It goes from white over to strobe. It does not have night vision. What we're going to do is we're going to use this in the house to demonstrate let's see, let's put it up roughly here, and we'll just demonstrate the brightness from a in-the-house setting. We'll cut this off. I have a computer going, so you might see a little light from that. But here we are. Okay, and again, that's 1.5, maybe 2 yards, and we will go to the strobe setting. It's not a very fast strobe, and we can compare that to if I can get this out one-handed, compare that to the strobe of the Streamlight 800 lumen. And you can see that's a much quicker 800 looms, strobe, back to the Night Evolution's strobe. You can see it's not quite as quick as the Streamlight, but I don't use strobe. So now we're back. It has a much whiter light. And again, about 200, I would give this 150 to 200 lumen. One more time to the Streamlight. Not that these lights are in the same class by any means, but it does give you gives you something to compare to. Obviously the middle beam, the hot spot's much smaller, so is the spill. But in all honesty, and we'll turn this back on. In all honesty, this light, even though it's 150 to 200 lumen, I think it's okay. really don't have a problem with it. It's a light you'd use in the house. This is a gun you would use in the house. This is not a 100-yard gun. I'm not saying it can't go that far. I'm saying it wasn't designed for that. And thus I feel that this 200 lumen, 150, 200 lumen Night Evolutions weapon light will be sufficient. And I don't have a problem with it. And I don't shoot it. Believe it or not, I really don't shoot this that much. I should. I should shoot it every day, but it's such a specific tool, if you will. And I'm not very much into what this is designed for. I just got it when I was young, but anyway, let's move on about this light. It's got, obviously you got a switch here. Oh, something we did not test is the Navi lights. Which are just that, navigation lights. Get that suppressor off there. Yeah, let's use the suppressor as now the main beam. And the Navi light. Okay, and now we're back. So I have lots. Over the time, I've had lots of Night Evolutions products. And I've had no issues out of any of them. And this light has gave me some issues. And hold on, I'm just trying to do something here. I've had some issues out of this light. It's all been my fault, though. It's not necessarily that of the light. When you buy this, you don't get the black head, and you don't get the black cap. Instead, you get this ugly brown head, which obviously is not going to look good on a UMP. So I had to get a new head. I waited for that. That's why I didn't get this review. And I decided that whoops. I decided I wanted to take the brown cap and paint it black, so I did. And I took the bottom off, and I took this switch out. And I wasn't thinking. And when I put the switch back in, I broke something inside of here. I broke a contact point, and I broke a contact point. You can see where this one sticks up, and this one broke off. So go me. I don't know anything about electronics, and so I can't fix this. So I ordered a new cap, and it turns out that the thread pitch is entirely different. So it had a lot of thread sticking out, so I cut it off. I cut some of the thread off, and when I stick it back up here, I'm essentially slightly if I can get this to lock. I am essentially, I guess you could say, cross-threading a little bit of this. But in all honesty, I don't care. It's on there, the lock locks it in place from unthreading, and coming loose, and so that's okay with me. It works, and I'm satisfied for now. I would never upgrade to the real m900v. I don't need night vision. I don't want to pay that price, and I also feel like 150 looms. Well, it's okay here. I didn't pay, you know, 500 bucks, but for 500 bucks, give me 3. Give me at least 300 looms for $500. But if I seen a M900 or M910 on sale, I might get one of those, but I would have to go to the LED conversion, which I think can be kind of expensive. I don't know. But for all the more I shoot this gun, this gun is not in my self-defense plan. I would not grab this at night. Not that I don't trust the gun or the light, but I don't know. It's just, to me, the coolness of this whole gun has kind of wore off, so it's just something I have. But anyway, if you don't mind tan, and you don't mind tan, this light is pretty cool. For the price, it's really nice. And that's just how I feel. I mean, my experience is my own fault for not knowing about these switches. I bought this, but if I could get a replacement that would work, or if I could get this fixed, then I'd feel a little bit more stellar about the light. I don't feel negative, I just feel kind of neutral about it. Outside of the issue here, I don't have a problem with the constant on. It slides over and it snaps. And it's kind of wiggly, but I can't compare it to a real one. I've never held a real one. There's a screw behind here, and in this hole, which I don't have a light to show you, but there's a hole here. There's a screw in there to add a little bit of tightness to it. The head actually can get loose. There's screws up in the top to adjust the tightness of the head. This is not something I'd put on an AR because of its weight. I personally am a scout mount person, or a surefire scout person. Believe it or not, I have a m900 surefire, real surefire, with an E to C adapter and an LED head. And I've got a Night Evolutions M600 Scout with just a factory Scout head, LED, Night Evolutions head. I have a Surefire switch, SR07 on the Surefire light, and I have a Night Evolutions SR07 on the Night Evolutions light. And I trust the Night Evolution more than I trust the Surefire. I have so many problems with the switch and the light flickering. And then sometimes the light works, sometimes it don't. It's good for a while, and then just when you go to do something else, it won't work. Just when you give in and trust it, it just dies. So that's my experience, and I don't care if you want to troll. It doesn't matter. I've had better experience with Night Evolution Scouts than I have my own highly expensive Surefire. I would have a good experience with this too had I not broke this. But that's neither here nor there. It's not its fault. So, there you go. That is the light in a nutshell. Well, a 20-minute nutshell, so take it for what it's worth. If you can buy this, there is a actual Surefire clone. I hear it's contracted for Asian military. Don't know if that's true, but I heard like the Philippines was using it. Again, that's just internet hearsay. They're $100 and something. I cannot remember where I found them. And they come with the QD, Surefire QD. This is an M910 with the thumb screws. If you can get your hands on one, I ordered one and I waited and I waited and I waited. It didn't ship. I waited and I waited and I waited. It didn't ship. Finally, I canceled the order. He said they had to come from a warehouse, that they did not have them on hand. I finally did, like I said, cancel that, but in a small way I wish I would have held out, but it is what it is. So take it for what it's worth. Only reason I wouldn't run this on an AR is because of the weight. So if oh, I also broke one of these heads. My fault again. Sometimes this can come loose, and if this backs off, this is kind of tricky to put together. So try to be careful if you have to take this off. Try to be careful and not hold. Oh, and don't use this. Don't grip on this, because you'll bust this little spring inside that pulls it. So do not grip on this middle piece. Try to grip here. It'll be impossible to grip back here because of the navy things, but try to grab it out here if you do get one to take it off. I made the mistake of grabbing it here and using this knurling, and I busted this. I know it doesn't sound very cool. It's not. But again, this isn't my everyday gun, so I don't mind the issues that I've had with this light. Hopefully, though, later on, maybe I can upgrade. But for right now, this gun's kind of out of sight, out of mind. So, there you go.